Hello everyone, welcome to Heather's Home Kitchen. I'm registered dietitian Heather Klug from the Karen Yance Women's Cardiac Awareness Center. With the warmer weather finally here, I'm going to show you three popular drinks, but we're gonna make them a little bit healthier. So I'm gonna show those to you today. So the first one we're gonna start with is one of the most popular drinks right now. You've probably seen it on YouTube and TikTok, but it's the whipped coffee. My goal to make it healthier is to make it a little lower in calories and especially lower in added sugars. If you've been to any of my presentations or if you listen to my Queen of Hearts podcast, you know I'm all about trying to limit added sugars because too many of those on a day-to-day basis are harmful for your heart and the rest of your body. So let's get started with the whipped coffee. So to make whipped coffee, one of the most important things to do is to make sure you use instant coffee. Learn from my mistakes. I experimented in the kitchen and I thought, oh, maybe I could use the grounds from those K-cups, and that did not work at all. So make sure you use instant coffee because that is prepared a little bit differently. It's basically like a powdered coffee extract, and it helps kind of whip it up and make it a little bit frothier. So to make this, and this does make 2 servings, just so you know, I'd recommend you, I know some people do make it as 1 serving. I'd cut it down to 2 because instant coffee still has quite a bit of caffeine in it. Some versions have less than regular coffee and some have a little bit more. So better to err on the side of caution. If you drink all of this as 1 drink, it's the equivalent of drinking about 5 or 6 cups of coffee, okay? So to make this recipe, you're gonna put 2 tablespoons of instant coffee in a small glass mixing bowl like I have here. And then the way we're gonna cut the carbs a little bit is to cut down on the added sugars. The original recipe uses 2 tablespoons. I'm cutting that down to 1. And then we're gonna add something called erythritol to it. So erythritol, you can find it in packages like this. For something like the whipped coffee, I would recommend you use the powdered version over the granulated just because it helps make it frothier. And you do need a little bit more of this. This is pretty close to the taste of sugar and takes on a lot of the same properties, but you do want to have slightly a little bit more. Now erythritol, if you don't know much about it, it is a sugar alcohol. There's no alcohol in it. This just has to do with its chemical structure. But unlike other sugar alcohols, it's not harmful to your digestive system. So you're not going to get like gas and bloating and diarrhea from it if you include erythritol in small to moderate amounts. In large amounts, it could cause problems. But I've measured this out already. I'm going to use 4 tablespoons of the erythritol and 1 tablespoon of sugar. If you want, you could cut out the sugar altogether in this recipe, the regular sugar, and I would up the erythritol to 5 tablespoons, okay? But I thought it'd be nice to have a little bit of both in there. And then the other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of boiling water to this. So I've done this in the microwave. You can boil the water on the stove. So we're gonna add that in there. And then we are going to mix this up with a hand mixer. You could also use a whisk if you'd like, but it will test your muscles because it does take a few minutes to kind of whip it up. All right, so we're just gonna whip this up and then eventually you're gonna see that this is going to start to take on kind of a nice whipped frothy sort of appearance. Again, this might take about a minute or 2. I'm just gonna keep turning the bowl. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about the calorie information while this is frothing up. So per drink, if you use the combination of the erythritol and the sugar, and we're gonna be pouring this over original almond milk. This drink has about 90 calories and only 15 grams of carbs. So it's not too bad. It's kind of nice for a little treat. Oh, it's kind of frothing up. You guys see that? Okay. Now, if you were to use the 2 tablespoons of sugar in here, it does up the calories to almost 115, and then the carbs at 21. So it's not terrible, but again, that's for me cutting this in half. So if you were to have this whole thing, you would actually have closer to 42 grams of carbs and about and over 200 calories. So, all right, that's getting nice and frothy. See, that didn't take too long. So this is kind of nice to have as a little treat here or there during the summer. The other trick I have found is to make sure you don't drink it too quickly, because this goes down pretty easily. But by itself, this whipped coffee per serving is only about 30 calories with the way I made it. Now, if you wanted to, you don't have to use the almond milk. You could use other types of nut milks, or you could use unsweetened nut milk too, and that would cut the calories and the carbs even a little bit more. So you can use what you prefer. All right, I think that's looking really good. So I'm going to turn that off. See how it's nice and frothy? You want it to be sticking to your beaters. Okay. All right, so we are going to scoop a little bit of this. Let me get some of that off of there so I'm not bumping into it. So I already have the almond milk poured here. You don't have to put the ice in there. That just helps keep it kind of chilled. I also put the cup in the refrigerator for a little bit too to keep it nice and cold. And then you're gonna put that right on top. Doesn't that look good? All right. So here is a whipped coffee drink, and I'm trying to be careful to not put all of it on there. All right, let's go next to another drink. So maybe you're not a coffee fan, but you still want a little bit of caffeine in there. Another option for you is to use matcha green tea. Now this recipe I've already prepared ahead of time because it does take more time because you have to beat it a lot more. But for this one, what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 egg whites. So you got to take out the yolks, and you're going to beat those in a glass bowl like I just did with the whipped coffee, okay? And you're going to beat that till the egg whites get kind of stiff. Okay, that part is very, very important. And then you're going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar if you'd prefer. Again, to kind of cut the added sugars, you can use the erythritol like we did before, and I would use twice as much. And then you're going to whip that again. You want it so it's getting nice and kind of frothy. You want it to stick to the beaters after you've mixed the egg whites and the sugar together. And then after that is done, you'd add 2 teaspoons of the matcha green tea powder. You don't want too much of that. Just about 2 teaspoons is enough. If you don't know about matcha green tea, it's very healthy. It's loaded with antioxidants just like coffee is, and there is caffeine in there. There's slightly less, and the caffeine that's in tea and green tea is known as more of a calm sort of energy. So it's going to give you energy, but it's kind of relaxing at the same time. So yeah, after you mix everything in, you'll see it turns into this frothy sort of mixture like this, and then similar to the whipped coffee drink, you can add that right on top, okay? All right, so there we go. So that is the matcha green tea drink, okay? Let me put that a little bit closer. All right, last recipe we are going to do today. So this is a strawberry and cream whip. This is my favorite one, probably because I love strawberries. And a lot of the recipes out there are using strawberry Nesquik powder, you know, which is quite a bit more processed. So I'm like, what can I come up with that would be healthier? So I took a package of freeze-dried strawberries. There's lots of different kinds. They're not too expensive at the store. They're usually in the aisle where the dried fruits are. And you're going to use about a half a package of this. I put it in my Ninja blender in that single serving canister, and I just pulsed it till it became a powder. So it kind of looks like this, if you want to zoom in on that, okay? And this part is really messy, so make sure you're really careful once you open that canister up. If you don't have a Ninja or a high-powered blender, you could also use a food processor. So to this mixture, what we're going to do is we're going to add in the erythritol again. And in this one, I'm not using as much. I'm going to use about 3 tablespoons of it. Oops, I need the spoon to help get it out of there. And again, this is the powdered erythritol. And then we're going to add just a tablespoon of the sugar in here as well. Now, if you really want to in this recipe, you could even cut the sugar down a little bit more if you'd like. And then we are going to add in I forgot my tablespoon over here, but I'm just going to use this spoon. So we're going to add in, it doesn't have to be super exact. I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons and we'll see what that looks like. And then we're going to beat this as well, okay? Okay, I can already tell we're going to need a little bit more water in this one. So let's try about 1.5 tablespoons maybe, okay? All right. Okay, isn't that pretty looking? And it's all natural because this is just from strawberries, okay? Try to get some of that off the side. Okay, so now what we're gonna add to this is some dairy-free whipping cream. Now I'm lactose intolerant, so that's why I'm using this. This is really a mixture of coconut oil and a little sunflower oil and a few stabilizers. If you can handle lactose and dairy, you could also just use regular heavy whipping cream for this. The numbers, honestly, I ran it both ways using the dairy-free heavy whipping cream. And this is from Silk, okay? The Silk brand. And regular heavy whipping cream, the calorie amounts are about the same in terms of calories and fat and saturated fat and carbs, all of it's about the same. So we're gonna whip this together and it's gonna turn kind of pinkish and it'll be a little bit thicker. All right, doesn't that look nice? All right, so that whipped up really nicely. This drink, just so you know, this one really should be kind of an extra special treat because it is higher in calories than the other 2 drinks. Again, that whipped coffee drink was only 90. The matcha green tea drink is about 105 calories with how I've prepared it. This one is almost 240 calories. So again, be a little more careful with it. The whip itself is about 175 if we divide this by 2. So I'm going to put a little bit of this on top. It's not quite as frothy as the other ones, but it does taste really good. It's very strawberry tasting. Okay, let's put a little more on that. In fact, this would be like a nice birthday treat. My birthday's next week, and I think I might enjoy this on my birthday. All right, so there we go, the strawberry and cream whip. And this one, again, is about 238 calories and 21 grams of carbs. So they're all pretty low in carbs. If you keep the portion sizes sensible, calories are decent too. So we have the whipped coffee, the matcha green tea drink, and the strawberry and cream whip. Thank you so much for watching today, everyone. And for more heart-healthy recipes, please visit theKarenJansCenter.org or our Karen Jans Center Facebook page or Pinterest page. Thanks for watching. Bye.